We all think of Washington, D.C. as a city of politicians, monuments, right? But what if it's something else entirely? What if it's not really a city at all, but a massive machine, 10 miles square, built with this, terrifying precision for a purpose we were never supposed to figure out? Yeah, let's get into this.
Because honestly, when you start looking, really looking at the city's design, you see these patterns and symbols everywhere. They're just hiding in plain sight. And it all leads you to this one big, kind of unavoidable question. Is the capital of the United States actually built on a secret code?
Okay, so our story kicks off way back in 1791. And it starts with this guy, a French engineer named Pierre-Charles L'Enfant. He was hired to design the new federal city, but L'Enfant, he wasn't thinking about just streets and buildings. No, he saw it as a grand stage for national power. And believe me, he was about to set one heck of a scene.
So, most cities at the time were built on a simple grid, right? Easy to navigate. L'Enfant? He said no way. Instead, he came up with this incredible system of huge diagonal avenues, all shooting out from these central points like spokes on a wheel. And this wasn't just to make it look cool. It created this giant geometric canvas made of squares, circles, and triangles. These were the basic building blocks for everything that would come later.
All right, so we've got the blueprint. Now, let's look at the physical evidence, the actual stone. Because those monuments we've all seen a million times, well, they might just have a double meaning hiding right in plain sight.
Let's start with the big one, the Washington Monument. It's not just some tall memorial. It's a pure, straight-up Egyptian obelisk. And to ancient mystery schools, think secret societies with deep esoteric knowledge, this shape meant something very specific. It was a petrified ray of the sun god, Ra, a really potent masculine symbol of power, designed to pull energy down from the heavens and anchor it right here on Earth.
And here's where it gets kind of spooky with the details. Officially, its height is 555 feet and a little bit. But if you do the math, some esoteric calculations show that it's also exactly 6,666 inches tall. A coincidence? Come on. In a city planned this carefully, a lot of people are saying there's just no way.
Okay, let's hop over to the Capitol building. Now, Thomas Jefferson himself called it the Temple of Liberty. And right on top of that massive dome is the Statue of Freedom. But some researchers think she's way more than that. They see her as an ancient figure, the goddess Columbia. And she's the divine feminine guardian of the city, creating this perfect alchemical balance with that powerful masculine obelisk.
But what's inside that dome is maybe even more wild. If you ever go, you have to look up. There's this massive fresco called the Apotheosis of Washington, and it's not a metaphor. It literally shows George Washington floating up into the heavens to become a god, surrounded by actual Roman gods. This is not subtle stuff. It's basically a giant sign saying, this is where mortals become gods.
Okay, so we've got symbols carved into the monuments. But now we get to the really mind-bending stuff. We're going to pull back, way up, and look at the city from above. Because this is where the streets themselves start to look like a giant, secret code. So it's no secret many of the founding fathers were Freemasons, and the theory is they left their ultimate signature all over the city. Look here. Pennsylvania and Maryland avenues shoot out from the Capitol, forming the compasses. Then, Louisiana and Washington avenues form the square right below it. Put them together, and what do you get? The #1 symbol of Freemasonry, stamped right onto the heart of the government.
Now, this next one, this is probably the most shocking and controversial part of the whole theory. Just north of the White House, you have 5 major streets that seem to form a perfect upside-down pentagram. In a lot of occult traditions, that symbol stands for matter winning over spirit, and it's often tied to some, darker stuff. And the bottom point of that star, it aims directly at the White House. Chilling, right? And it just keeps going. If you look at a really detailed map of the little paths and driveways right around the Capitol building, check this out. You can clearly see the silhouette of an owl. It's like it's perched right there. Now, yeah, an owl means wisdom, but it's also a big symbol for secret societies, for people who see in the dark. And it's just sitting there, watching over everything.
So here's the thing. The city's design, it's not just about what's on the ground. The whole blueprint allegedly reaches up into the heavens. It's all based on that ancient idea, as above, so below, meaning what happens in the cosmos is reflected here on Earth.
Take Pennsylvania Avenue, probably the most famous street in America. Well, its position isn't random at all. Its path is believed to be perfectly aligned with the rising of Sirius, which is the brightest star you can see in the sky. And for the ancient Egyptians, Sirius was the star of the goddess Isis, a huge symbol of rebirth. It's like the founders were trying to symbolically tie the destiny of America to the stars themselves.
And it gets even more precise. Get this, one theory suggests that the whole Federal Triangle area is basically a map of the constellation Virgo laid out on the ground. In this version, the White House lines up with a star called Zavijava, and the Capitol building, it aligns perfectly with Spica, which is the brightest star in Virgo. It's a star map, but made of buildings.
Okay, so you have to be wondering, who on Earth could have planned all this? I mean, a design this layered, this complex, it just can't be an accident, right? So who were the hidden architects behind it all?
Well, a few key players keep popping up. First, you've got the Freemasons. Their huge headquarters, the House of the Temple, sits just 13 blocks north of the White House, like right on the same line. Then there's Albert Pike, this legendary Masonic philosopher, who some people say fixed the city's grid to make the symbols perfect. And then, and this is so important, there's Benjamin Banneker. He was a free black astronomer, a total genius, who did the math to lock the city to the stars.
Banneker was the stargazer, the guy who could do the mind-bendingly complex math to align the whole city grid with the cosmos. And there's this incredible story about him. When L'Enfant, the original designer, got fired, he got mad and took all the blueprints with him. The project was dead. But Banneker, supposedly, just reconstructed the entire layout, every street and circle, from memory. Just amazing.
So this all brings us back to today, and to that central mystery. If the city really is a machine, one built on this secret code of symbols and cosmic alignments, then what's it for? What is its purpose? And, this secret geometry doesn't stop at street level. Deep below the surface, there's a whole labyrinth of tunnels and secure bunkers. It's like the city's subconscious, a hidden network designed to keep the machine running no matter what happens up top. Again, as above, so below.
So, let's just do a quick recap of the code we've uncovered. We have an ancient Egyptian obelisk channeling energy, a massive Masonic signature laid out in the streets, that deeply weird inverse pentagram pointing right at the White House, a secret owl watching over Congress, and a literal map of the stars built from federal buildings.
And that leaves us with the final and maybe most unsettling question. If Washington, D.C. is in fact a giant magical machine, a talisman built with ancient symbols and aligned with the cosmos, then who is it really for? And after more than 200 years, what is it still building?